Hey everybody, David G here with the Internet Marketing Party and the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Deiss. How are you, Ryan?
Good, man. Good to have you here. I like the bright red room. I'm guessing your wife selected that color?
Yeah.
Yeah. No man who's actually ever painted a room would choose the color red because you only have to paint it about 7,000 times for it to 7,000 coats or so for it to get just right. I did that once. Never
Right.
again. Just thought I'd
So
throw that
I
out there.
figured we'd start out because
Figured we
there
started
are
talking about paint
there are
colors.
those moments when I mention Ryan Deiss and people go, Ryan who? So in our little info product internet marketing world, you're a legend, and outside of that world, people still not everyone knows who you are. So I figured we talk a little bit, just a minute. I remember seeing
Some people know you, some
this
people don't. Your
infographic
boss.
you made, which is on my screen. I don't know if you can see it, but you started back at UT, University of Texas, in a dorm room, broke, with you saved up enough money to go to a big internet marketing seminar from Armin Morin. And tell just a little bit about that story, right? Like you had like no money and you just saved it all, put $1,000 into this seminar or something.
I think it was $2,000, but I mean, just to be clear, like you're supposed to be broke in college, so that wasn't that big a deal, right? I mean, so I don't want to turn this into some like rags to riches thing. I mean, there's people who have really good rags to riches. I mean, I was in college, right? If you have money, you pretend like you don't. So yeah, no, I mean, I was in college, and I was in college at right kind of when the dot-com boom was hitting its stride, and consequently plummeted. So I started college in 1999 at the University of Texas, right here in Austin, where you and I both live. And so the main reason that I got started doing this stuff is I wanted a way to make some extra money. And I was going to school full time. I had a part-time job to pay the bills, but I wanted a way to make some extra dough, and that was kind of where that was when the internet first started coming. I started buying up some courses. Guys like Corey Rudel, who was one of my primary mentors. Ken Evoy had Make Your Site Sell. I mean, these are all products that a lot of people, depending on when they got started, probably have no idea what I'm even talking about.
Right.
But that was kind of where I cut my teeth, and I got started licensing software. And I licensed some software from a guy, had some really cool software, and I bought an ad. I remember it was $500. Bought my very first ad in an online newsletter, and I put an ad for that software, and I sold right at about $500 something worth of copy. So I figured, cool, I've paid back my ad costs. Let's go do it again and again and again, and I leveraged that up to a nice little list. Got into SEO real heavily back when it was easy, and I was in over 500 different markets. We were selling everything from baby products on how to make your own baby food. I was doing lead generation for truck bed covers and hair restoration. Had affiliate programs for time and attendance systems, so those like swipe things that people, if they work in a factory or something, got to do the card swiper. We sold a ton of those things, so it was weird. Pretty much anything that I could find, any little hole in a market that I could find where I could get some pages ranked or do some pay-per-click and insert myself into that market, I did it. And like I said, we were in over 500 some odd markets, which sounds a whole lot cooler than it actually was. It really, really, really sucked because, like anything else, there's the 80-20, and then there's kind of the 80-20 within the 20.
Yeah.
And I was losing a ton of money on a bunch of them. I was making a lot of money, and making enough money just to sort of eke out a living. And at this point, I'd graduated from college. I was now married. I had a mortgage, all that fun stuff. And so I kind of knew that I needed to start treating it a little bit more like a real business. And so that's sort of what I did. I guess about 4 years ago, decided, yeah, let's treat it more like a real business and see what happens. And now, kind of consolidate everything, all the information publishing stuff, at least under Idea Incubator, and have still buying companies, investing in companies, starting companies, things like that. So it's been fun. This year I know is going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah. So now you're generating revenues upwards of 20 million. You've got over 30 employees now.
It's in X. I don't like to talk about numbers. I mean, it's in well in excess of 20. But I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. And I think we have 45 people at ID Incubator. If you count the other companies that we have, I don't know. It's probably double that.
Right, right. And some of the companies that you have now are like really exciting, and some people might not even know that they have anything to do with the internet.
Well, some of them are really boring. I mean, we just bought a company that's a filter manufacturer. That, it's a manufacturing company, and we do some importing and things like that. So that's something that has very little to do with the internet. But to me, I've always believed that the internet is a medium, and it's one of the best mediums in the world. But it's certainly not the only one. And we bought this company. We bought it with the plans of selling it through the internet, selling a lot of their filters and things like that. But look, if you know how to market, if you know how to sell stuff,
Right.
those skills are going to benefit you no matter what medium you choose to go into, whether it's the internet, whether it's more of a mobile application, whether it's direct selling, whether it's face-to-face selling. So right now we got a team in Vegas at a water filter trade show, and we used a lot of the same things that we do on the internet to attract people to our booth at the trade show. So I mean, it's marketing is marketing.
Right. Yeah, I actually learned something really cool from your partner and another legend, Perry.
Yep.
And that's that 99% of businesses have one lead source. And
Yeah,
that's
I mean, a lot of them, and a lot of the businesses we talk to, they can't even tell you where that lead source is. They just have sales that come in, and they don't even know. That's one of the first questions that I always ask a business, whether we're looking to acquire it or if we're just doing consulting. Where do the bulk of your sales come from right now? Because usually it's easier to maximize what's working. Everybody wants to go out and do new stuff. I find it's a whole lot easier to ask people, hey, what are you doing right now that's working? Figure out ways to fully max that out. Then we can go on talking about some other things. But I'll ask people, what are you doing right now that's working? Where do these customers come from? And they have no idea. So, but Perry's absolutely right. I mean, even for the ones that are intentional, even for, a lot of the internet marketing people, whether you're doing internet marketing or affiliate marketing or something like that, most folks are a one-trick pony. They might be really good at Facebook, or they might be really good at SEO, or they might be really good at pay-per-click. I know when I first got started back in really, really serious in 03 with SEO, I was by and large a one-trick pony. I did SEO. That was when, Keith Baxter and I were, we were doing our kind of SEO mastermind. He had a group called Nothing Held Back, which was, just kind of the black hat SEO people at the time. And that was all I did. And I remember when I got slapped real hard by Google, and I said, I think it was during the Florida update, which I believe was 05 or 06. I forget now. The years kind of start to run together. But I got hit, and when I woke up one morning, and all my traffic was gone. It's like Google had just flipped the switch, and my sites were gone. And that was when I said, forget that. I'm not going to be committed to SEO anymore. I'm going to really learn pay-per-click, because as long as I'm paying them money, now they won't ever screw with me, right? Well, fast forward a few years, and there's the big, Google slap and the Google ban, and and now everybody's angry at Google for that, now you took away all my traffic, so okay, screw Google, which I've been known to say from time to time. Which, by the way, if anybody from Google's watching, love you guys, mean it. But I really do like Google. They've made me an obscene amount of money. Actually, quick side story. Because you talked about before, you were like, yeah, some people know who you are, and then there's a lot of people that don't. But to like this much of the planet, I'm kind of someone. I'm sorry. It gets to the point where you can't see the gap. Anyway, I'm like nobody to only about everybody. But so it's all the bad parts of celebrity where you'll have like this many people who are crazy, who are like, ah. But like normal people couldn't give a crap about me. So like my wife and I go out to dinner. It's not like I'm getting seated at the best tables. But we were out the other night, and I was talking to my wife, and as we were leaving, a guy got up and he was like, "Excuse me, are you Ryan Deiss?" Which is never a good thing, by the way. Never a good thing. And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, cool. I thought I recognized your voice. My name's so and so. I work for Google." I was like, oh, crap. And he's like, yeah, we've seen some of your videos and things like that. I was like, yeah. And I just looked up, I was like, I was shaking his hand. I was like, man, my bad. He's like, no. He's like, you're right. We do suck. So I got one person from Google to admit that they do suck. But anyway, he was a really cool guy. So again,
Well,
a little bit of a
that
tangent. I like Google, but I just want to say, like, just to close up that thought. First it was SEO, then it was pay-per-click, and then everybody switched to Facebook, and then Facebook had a slap of its own. Look, at the end of the day, you gotta do a lot of stuff. You gotta have a lot of different methods of generating traffic. A lot of people are a one-trick pony in there. All they can do is generate traffic through affiliates or through launches. That's not good either. So you gotta have diversity. And that was the thing that we set out to get really good at. And if you're going to do that, a lot of times you have to have a team, because it's impossible to be really, really good at SEO and really, really, really good at pay-per-click. And for one person to be really good at all those things is virtually impossible. Right. So you can be kind of okay at a lot of things, but kind of okay, it's a zero-sum game on the internet these days. You know,
when this topic comes up, I usually talk about Michael Jordan. I mean, and his foray into baseball.
Yeah. And even into golf, right? Like, he's a fantastic golfer, but he couldn't make the tour. He was a crazy good baseball player, but he couldn't make a living at it to the extent that he had done it before. I was really, really, really good at SEO. I was really, really good at pay-per-click. I taught myself to be really good at Facebook advertising, and then as soon as I was pretty good at it, we brought somebody in. And I'm happy to say that now when I walk into my office, there's 40 some odd people there, and every single one of them is better at the one or two things that they do than I am. I can step in if I need to and get the job done, but they're better at it than I am, and that's great. That's awesome. I want to be worthless in that regard. I want to be able to focus, just on the strategic level and offers and conversion things and stuff like that, and let everybody else handle the tactical traffic generation strategies, because, man, those change so often. They really do. The second you're good at it, that's why you got the guru of the week, right? Somebody will crack the code, and they never diversify to anything else, and then when it changes, they're done. They're gone. They go back, to their job.
Right, right. Well, going back to that little side note I asked on Facebook for folks to ask questions that they'd want me to ask you, and Sean Collins, co-founder of Affiliate Summit, had a really important question. He says, why doesn't he capitalize the T in YouTube at digitalmarketer.com?
Somebody else wrote that? Yeah, I don't know.
Sean Collins is asking that.
Sean Collins, that's what he had, huh?
Yeah, he says, I'm wondering if it reflects some hidden aggression towards Google. Such wanton disregard for the branding concerns me greatly.
I'm sure Sean's he's losing sleep about that. No, that's called somebody just dropped the ball. But thank you for letting me know. And then it does bring up a good point, is people will say all the time, like, hey, I noticed that this part over here is misspelled, or this graphic was funky. The thing that sucks about hiring people, it's both good and bad. They're never gonna do the little bitty things quite as well as you did when you were one person, when you were a solo act, because they can never possibly care as much as you, right? When it's you and it's your lifeblood, it's how you feed your family, and it's your name and it's your product. I mean, you're gonna dive in. You're gonna, even if you're not detail oriented, man, you're gonna hit it. But when it's other people, they're gonna. And look, even when it was just me, I still probably screwed up and misspelled crap. So Harry's the worst. Perry
that's actually a really good segue into something that Michael Drew asks. I want to know how he views transactional marketing, how transactional marketing hurts his goal of building a tribe and relationship, or how transactional marketing helps, not hurts, his goal of building tribe and relationship.
I'd have to get Michael to define a little bit better what he means by transactional marketing. I mean, if he means like going out there and asking people for money, I'm a firm believer, and I've seen this replicated over and over and over again. People won't give you their time until they've given you at least some money. There's just too much clutter out there. There's too much free information out there. If you're going to be another person contributing to the noise, then you're going to get lost in it. I mean, you absolutely are going to get lost in it unless you're a celebrity, unless you do a bunch of other things. And so if you look at these people who have built a tribe, oftentimes it's very easy for, especially business people, they'll go back and they'll reassess their success, and they'll do it, with hindsight and with rose-colored glasses, and they'll forget about the fact that, like, early on, I had to, I had to go out there and I had to sell, and then, when we have this amazing brand, oh, now we don't have to sell. Now sales are bad. We shouldn't be selling anymore. You should just, kind of be cool with people and just talk about stuff and not even ask them for money. And just, if you're just cool enough with people and you have enough of a relationship, then, then they'll give you money. I mean, it'll just happen naturally. That's horse crap. It's just not how it works. It's not how real life works. It's not how business works. If you have all the money in the world, all right, or if you go out there and you raise $100 million in venture capital, then maybe you have the time to wait that out and reach critical mass. But for most people, like for me, we haven't taken investor money. So for most people, if you go out there and, and you're trying to shoestring this thing, you got to eat. And to do that, you need to exchange value for money. That's what business is. It's, I have something, you want it, let's have an exchange of value. I give you product or service and you give me currency. It's that simple. There's nothing wrong about it. But I truly believe if you want to, heighten the relationship, make something more intimacy, increase the intimacy in a relationship, you spend money, right? If I want to heighten the relationship with someone that I'm dating, I'm going to take him out to a really, really nice dinner. And as the relationship progresses, I might buy him a really nice piece of jewelry. It ultimately culminates in a big fat diamond ring. And then you buy him a house. And then you're off like putting braces on kids and stuff that's less sexy, but probably more expensive. But I mean, that's just how that's one of the ways that we define as a people what we are engaged with. Is you look at people's wallet, you look at people's calendar, and that's how you define engagement. Where do you spend your money and where do you spend your time? And to go at purely the time angle and say I want to. I want to capture everybody's attention and have them so enraptured that I capture, that you can do that. It can be done. It's called Facebook, right? You can do it. You just better have a stockpile of money to wait it out. And that brings with it its own set of, of evils. Now you got VC people that are, forcing unholy things down your throat. So it's just sort of pick your poison.
Right. Well, so circling back to some of the other questions, I think with outstanding. I love the way you answered that. And on that note, I don't know if at the beginning of this interview, thank you for your time, because I know you've got a lot of things rolling.
Yeah,
and
you're welcome. Anytime. And for the record, Michael Drew might be like, that was not at all what I meant by transactional marketing. So, well, maybe we can follow up with him later.
He's going to be at the party, so we can.
All right, so he can ask me that live. Yeah.
So, if someone's getting started in today's world, someone has information they want to sell, how would you do it? If for whatever reason you had to start over today, you have $100 in your, what steps would you take?
I would only go through channels to start off with. So channels. So starting with like Amazon Kindle. The idea of creating a website to sell an ebook in 2012 and beyond is ridiculous. You have channels with Amazon and iTunes that they already have consolidated the buyers. People are there looking to buy information. Sell through those channels. It's super easy to get an Amazon page ranked high. Just title your report whatever the search phrase is you're trying to rank for. I mean, these are not difficult things. There's already trust built in. You don't have to have a brand because you're piggybacking off the Amazon brand. Now, once you do that, once you build your following through these channels, then you can take them off. Now you can pull people onto your blog or onto your website. Yeah, it's easy. In the past, people would say, don't publish a book. That's stupid. It takes too long. You don't make any money. But Amazon with Kindle, they have made the process so easy. I mean, they truly have democratized the spread of information. They have, and they're not perfect yet, but they've done a fantastic job. And so if I were just getting started again today, and I was passionate about a particular subject matter, I would absolutely publish things through Kindle, and then go on and have them be go with a print-on-demand publisher, and sell them through regular Amazon as well. And that goes with even physical products also. Like take the filter company that I mentioned before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're building them a website, but we expect the vast majority of the sales that we do to go through the Amazon store. We're going to put up, people don't realize Amazon has a partner program. If you're selling something, you can sell it through Amazon. You can even have Amazon fulfill it for you. It's called the FBA program, Fulfilled by Amazon. So
Wow, man.
you ship them your stuff. If they're Prime, they get the free shipping. I mean, it's super simple. So today, really, I mean, I know everybody says this, but I actually do believe that today it's easier to get started from a technology standpoint than it was when I got started. Now, when I first got started, it was easier to gather your initial, that initial tribe, right? I mean, there wasn't as much noise. Media was less expensive. Marketing was easier. But from a technology perspective, I want to get up and running and start selling something tomorrow, you don't have to learn HTML. You don't have to learn FTP. You don't have to buy domain names. You don't have to get hosting accounts. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You just start selling them through these big channels.
Right. Wow. So speaking of, you would write a book or, publish something about something you're passionate about. If there were no internet, what do you think you'd be doing and why?
If there were no internet,
Yeah.
what would I be doing?
Yeah, like,
Golly. I'll tell you, you asked that question, and instantly my brain went, how much time do you, because you know what I talked about before, like when you ask a company, what are you doing that's already working? Like, so you can reverse engineer things. So I thought to myself, when I'm not on the internet or doing something related to the internet, what am I doing? And aside from like sleeping and just like playing with my kids, it's like nothing. So that's a really tough question. I can tell you, for me, I still think that pure business at its core is manufacturing. And so I would probably find something that somebody wanted, and I'd make it. I'd find somebody to make. I wouldn't make it. I can't make. I'm like, I can't make anything. But I'd find something that somebody wanted. I'd make it, and then I'd go sell it. Like when I was a kid. All right. So here's what I did. One thing before internet, I had a buddy of mine who he made origami. He just bought a book on origami and just geeked out and like made all this like stupid little origami animals. And he made them, and I was like, wow, that's really, really cool. I bet we could sell it. So there I am, I couldn't have been more than 8 or 9 years old because at that point we lived in this apartment complex. When I was 10, we moved into a house. So I was 8 or 9 years old in this apartment complex going door to door selling these origami figurines that my buddy made. And I made a few bucks. So that's kind of where my brain has always gone. As a kid, I woke up in the morning and I didn't watch cartoons. I watched infomercials. It's probably somewhat instructive as to, anyway. But you can read into that a lot of things. But I really would find something that somebody wanted and I'd sell it. If I had to sell it face-to-face, door-to-door, I'd do that until I had a proven system, and then I'd train somebody else to go face-to-face and door-to-door. And then we'd find some other medium that was more efficient than that. Whatever it is, if it's not the internet. I like the internet because it's so insanely efficient. You can get your message out there to the masses, and it can be presented in a way that it could never be presented before. That's what I love about the internet. And that's why I don't do a lot of other things. But why are we showing at a trade show in Las Vegas right now for the filter company? Because it's efficient. There's hundreds of other companies, possible customers, thousands in that industry who are all going to be in one place at one time. You'd be stupid not to be there. Even if you didn't buy a booth, you'd be stupid not to be there and walk around.
Right.
And so figuring out kind of where everybody's already hanging out and plugging yourself into that is huge.
Which is why people should be at the Internet Marketing Party on Thursday.
I totally set you up. I was wondering if you would take it. Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Well
I'll
played,
take that.
Well played.
So two final questions, because I told you this would be like a 10-15 minute interview, but you're just on a roll. I'm digging everything you're saying. What's been your biggest mistake?
Oh God, I think there's been a lot. From a general business perspective, not making the commitment to build a team fast enough and really trying to learn everything myself. That was a very, 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 it was an impossible task I've now learned. And then just kind of along that same vein, a big mistake that I made, and one that I see a lot of people making, is they build their teams from the bottom up. So they as opposed to going out and finding someone who's really talented and really skilled who can run a company, and hiring that person, having them build the team top down, They'll go out and they'll try to, oh, I want to outsource all these little tasks, and I'll then go and outsource all these tasks. And next thing you know, they've got this mess of like 15 different outsourcers. They don't do a good job of managing themselves. They can't manage 15 people. So hire the managers first and let the managers hire people doing the stuff. Other mistakes that I've made that got me in trouble from like a cash flow perspective was not paying myself a salary. It's another big, huge mistake that I made early on. When we had a great month, I took out a ton of cash, and went and bought a bunch of stuff. When we had a bad month, I didn't take out anything. So I put myself in this feast and famine kind of mindset. And when I finally said, you know what, I'm going to pay myself a really, really, really good salary. And on months where we crush it, I'm going to leave money in there for retained earnings, for a rainy day. And we'll evaluate at the end of every quarter if we can take an additional distribution, great. I guess kind of what it all culminates into is I didn't treat, like this is a business, and I didn't treat it like a business soon enough. And I know that that's not going to be a very popular notion. I mean, I know, my buddy, I'm good friends with Frank Kern. I love Frank, and he's kind of like the antithesis of wanting to treat this like a business. But I still think if you want to have real freedom, I'm all for the 4-hour work week. But let's not forget, Tim started living the 4-hour work week after he sold a supplement company. Was when he really got to dive in and really live that and really, really enjoy that. And so I'm for building something. I'm for building something that lasts, for building something that has real equity, meaning somebody else would be interested in owning it as well, and then getting to kind of kick back a little bit. And along the way, have a ton of fun and make a lot of money doing it and building it.
Cool, man. Well, so the second question is, what's been your biggest success? If you had to pinpoint one, what's been your biggest success and why, and are you able to replicate it, or have you been able to replicate it?
Do you mean biggest success like kind of a singular
Just
business?
answer however the hell you want.
However I want?
Yeah, man.
When we were able to, when we were able to launch this year the private equity fund, that to me was the thing that I've been the most proud of, because that was a culmination of a lot of different stuff, and so to go out and raise a good bit of money and to start making the initial acquisitions in some of these companies, that to me, because what we got to prove now, and we've been able to do it a couple times, still really, really early, but we've been able to do it a couple of times with a couple of different businesses. The things that we know and the things that we're really, really good at on the internet, selling ebooks and stuff like that, they work really well for selling physical products too. And so, to me, it's been this kind of formula that we've created. I mean, it's really simplifying business down to just 3 things. And this is, by the way, a lot of what I'm going to talk about, at the party, is because I figure 90% of the room will be drunk anyway, so I might as well make it simple. But business is it's only about 3 things. It's about getting eyeballs to a product and then fulfilling on that product. So it's about eyeballs, conversion, fulfillment. That's it. Traffic, conversion, fulfillment, if you want to look at it that way. That business, I don't care if you're online, offline, it breaks down into those 3 things. And what we realized is that more than anything, it comes down to that second thing, which is conversion. If we can lock that down and get really good at that, the other 2 sort of take care of themselves. And so that conversion formula, what we've been able to really create and formalize over the last few years is probably, I would say, my biggest success, just because it has been replicatable now across a couple of markets. And actually, here, hold on one second, I have a visual aid.
Nice.
There we go. I've talked about this a couple of times, but I did a video on it. But remember this thing? I don't know if you've seen that. So that was the original napkin that I wrote. You can't see it in that video, but I have it framed now. But that was the original cocktail napkin where I wrote down kind of the business flow, how we go about monetizing a customer when they come in through the door, a lead when they come in the door. And I guess that would probably be, although it's changed slightly from what is actually here on this napkin, it hasn't changed much at all. And I drew that on that napkin, oh gosh, 5-6 years ago. And that was the year that I made my first $1 million. And to still be using that, basically that same formula today across a dozen different businesses, and to see it working and not just selling ebooks, but selling benign, boring things like water filters. That to me is exciting, and that to me is my greatest success. So.
Or products that get rid of cat urine smell.
Exactly.
Or bed bugs or
yeah. I mean business is business, marketing is marketing, and So there you go.
So that I've got one final question, and that is, if you had to pick one profit model, whether it's membership sites, affiliate marketing, online, because it's the internet marketing party.
Sure, fair
Which
enough.
one would you suggest, like across the board, that would blanket the majority of people? Obviously, we've talked about how follow your passion, but from a profit model.
We talked about following your passion?
Well, yeah, how if you were to get started over today, you'd pick a passion project then and write about it, publish
Oh,
that.
I don't care if it's your passion. I could give a crap. Almost nothing. I mean, I'm not passionate about water filters. Just to be clear, I wasn't passionate about hair restoration. I wasn't passionate about truck bed covers. I wasn't passionate about any of that stuff. I'm passionate about business and systems, and
And conversions.
There are certain things that I am very, very passionate about that are that are nonprofit pursuits. I mean, I'm on the board of a couple of things, nonprofits here in Austin. So there are things that I'm passionate about, but that's a trap that I think a lot of people get in. Is they feel like that they have to be intimately passionate about the specific product that they're selling. You don't have to be passionate about the specific product that you're selling. If there's a want, need, or void in the marketplace and you're helping someone out, great. I mean, that's all that you need. As far as you being intimately passionate about that particular thing, hey, it's good, but it's not necessary. You can be passionate about the model. I think Sam Walton was passionate about creating a business that allowed vast retail to go into really small markets. Right? That was cool. He wasn't passionate about Drano and cheap little kids' toys and crap like that. He was passionate about a model that was created. So sorry, I didn't want to go off on a tangent, but I think that's important.
No, it's badass, dude. I mean, and it's one that I think I've fallen into for a while, because the 4-hour work week is kind of what got me into internet marketing. I mean, it was what, I knew Lovitch was doing really well, but it was like, yeah, internet. And when I read Tim's book, it was like, ooh, cool. I can live a life that doesn't really feel like work.
Yeah, and just to be perfectly clear, I like Tim very much and have nothing but respect for it. And the systems that he puts in there are fantastic. I think that was a great example of creating an awesome hook and a really good offer. But yeah, I mean, you look at somebody like Michael. I mean, I don't know if Lovitch is just insanely passionate about the market that he's in. He was insanely passionate about getting rid of a lot of the hucksters and shysters that were in that market. So what he was passionate about was again creating an environment. But he could go and take that, if he took that model of saying, you know what, I want to get rid of all the, I identify a market over here that has wants, needs, and voids, but the only people in it are just crooks and scammers, and I want to go into that one. He could be equally as passionate about it. It had nothing to do with, hypnotism and stuff like that. So
health or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. I got it. And it's kind of a meta passion. It's like, for you, it's about conversions and business. For Michael, it's about, doing the right, and for Sam Walton, it was about creating a really effective system that could be replicated, and that would bring really affordable products to the masses.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well,
you had started to ask me another question though, I guess, which is what would I do if I? Do you remember it now?
No. I think I asked you, like, if you were starting over.
Oh, the model. You said the model. What model? Whether it be membership sites or affiliate marketing.
Right.
So specific to the internet, I'll go ahead and answer that question. I do still think that the membership sites and continuity programs are the best way to do it, because the best way to make a really, really, really good living, best way to make a really good income. So I would still tell people, if you're just getting started, go out there, sell a low-ticket product, and get people in some type of group or club, where you're creating enough value to justify charging them 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks a month. Because, if you can get 500 people to give you 20 bucks a month, that's 10 grand a month. That's pretty good money. And so still, if I were getting started, I would make sure that what I built had some aspect of recurring income to it, some type of membership, some type of community, because I really believe that community is still where everything's headed. The internet, I watched a talk by Seth Godin the other day, and he talked about how the internet was originally supposed to just homogenize us. It was supposed to kind of make us all one type of people, because we were all going to be consuming the same things and seeing the same things. In fact, it did the exact opposite. It didn't make us one. It highlighted our differences and allowed compartmentalization to now be effective. So people who were on the fringe, people who were on the margins of society, now they were able to find other weirdos, and like we have, right? I mean, you put this party on, once a month, and there's a bunch of nut jobs show up and talk about autoresponders and SEO. I mean, that's not normal, right? We're not normal, but we're able to find each other. And it really is the internet that's facilitated that. So I do think that these communities are going to be big. And once you have people in a community, it does lend itself very well to membership and to continuity. So it's still a model I believe
think we're going to have the biggest turnout this time because you called everybody a nut job.
I'm calling myself one too. You one too. We're weird. We're weird.
Yeah.
Bring somebody who doesn't know anything about our world to one of these things, and they're like, "What the heck are you guys talking about?" We're not. We're
That's
not
the sound
normal.
of Ryan Deiss backpedaling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always like to entice people with some sort of cool thing that they'll only get if they're either a member of the party or if they come to the party. That PDF that you have, I know that if someone dug long and deep enough, they could find it. Is that something we could give everybody that comes to the party?
You talking about the napkin?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've done an updated presentation on it that I can make sure everybody gets. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what would be the hook for that? Like, what's the hook for the party so I can start marketing it in the next 2 days?
The hook for what?
Because as of now, I've just been marketing it as Ryan Deiss,
and everybody's like, "Who?" Yeah, no, that's up to you for you to decide, buddy. I'll let you figure that out.
You're the one that's. If I'm gonna, well, here's what the hook is gonna be.
Okay.
Ryan Deiss will teach you how to make $14.3 million in just 3 days or less. No list, no product, no confidence.
Yeah.
All you need is one functioning kidney, healthy functioning kidney,
or a dialysis machine. Yeah.
You think?
I think make sure somebody from the FTC is there, and we'll all go to jail. It'll be great. No, I tell you what I will do. I'm going to make sure that I break down. Really, I'll break down that formula, the one that's been very replicatable across multiple businesses, and it does come down to just one thing. I mean, if we can do just one thing in these businesses, just one specific thing, then it works. The businesses succeed, and it doesn't matter. It's not about getting good at video marketing or SEO or pay-per-click or Facebook. If we can lock down just this one thing, then I know for a fact the business is going to be successful. So I will tell everybody what that one thing is.
So what's the headline? Here, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ryan Deiss writing a headline in real time.
The way I write headlines is I get out my phone and I call Perry and I say, "Perry, write a headline." No, yeah. No, I tell you what, if you really want to do that, let me think about it, because I don't do well coming up with things on the spot. Really, Perry is great at that.
No, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
I mean, you call it, the one big thing, because it really is. I truly believe that it comes down to just one thing, and I also truly believe, as someone who has been at the Internet Marketing Party since before it was called the Internet Marketing Party, I also truly believe that everyone there will be intoxicated. And so I will make sure just limiting it down to one thing will probably be good.
So something like the one big thing that makes over $20 million a year on and offline.
Sure. If you just gotta get some type of income claim in there because you just desperately want to.
Oh, that's right. FTC, yeah, because I'm not.
Yeah, we'll go with that. No, I mean.
No, let's say that makes $20.
$20, yeah. Then hillbilly hundreds. Yeah, guaranteed to make you at least $25 in the next 2 years. That's good. No, I mean, man, it really is. It's the one big thing that defines the success of any business. I mean, I absolutely
the one
believe
big thing.
But I mean, that is the least sexy thing, because everybody's going to want me to talk about the, what's the cool YouTube trick or Facebook trick or SEO trick, and I'm just not, because it doesn't freaking matter. It really doesn't. I mean, if you can lock down this one thing, then you don't have to worry about traffic, you don't have to worry about leads, you don't have to worry about money again. And that's a promise. I got a couple stories I'll tell to illustrate that point.
Very cool.
So,
Well, say hi to Emily, say hi to Timothy, and your other 17.
The other brood.
How many are you up to now?
that's 4, unless you know something I don't. Yeah,
So it's only 4.
only 4. Yeah, yeah,
Don't you like that, the way now it seems like it's only 4?
yeah. It doesn't feel like only 4 at 3 a.m. in the morning when they're like all simultaneously crying. But yeah,
Very cool. Well, wrapping things up. So this Thursday, March the 8th, it's the unofficial South by Southwest Interactive kickoff internet marketing party
Not legal
featuring
advice, by the way.
Ryan Deiss.
I'll be
Yes.
there.
All right, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, thanks a bunch. Anything else you want to ask or add or say before we?
No, come on out. It's going to be fun, and certainly if you're in town for South by Southwest, make sure I'd love to meet you. I've got a lot of buddies in town from from San Francisco, and I intend to talk to them about how to like actually create something that makes money, not just create something that may or may not one day sell to Google or some other big company. So there you go. It'll be fun. I love screwing with my.
That's the little direct response jab.
Yeah,
in
there you go.